needs that. They were go past the sugar and the tree. Yeah, not yet. I know even the shadow. That has not. What the she's I think or you could do last night. So lunch, no. Only not Kahida. That's little eight lost. Only Dulce, the whole Patrick country, the Ute country, the Albuquerque area, all the districts on Navajo reservation. Mushadan, just law enforcement. And then I spent some time with mental health. I just, they're retired, I have 8 in the family. I've got over 70 grandkids. Great ones. You get all Chanala, that's all Kedan. They're all over. My spouse passed on about a year and a half ago. I'm a Vietnam veteran back in 68, 69 to 70. So total disabled. But the government, they still take care of me, so I don't say anything about the government. So this chain in slow, I saw what's this chain? I said that it's chain, that chain, the Chanel. I go. The Hajonja, I've been doing it for over 30 years. Now, say, Peter, back in the late 80s and 90s. I got traditionally ordained to carry on. I did the graduation exercises here, and I put on a seminar about a lifeline for the school. That was back some years ago. So I'm familiar with the school. I'm familiar with the school, and I'm honored to do a prayer for the school. Introduction so with my medicine bundle, we've been honored to do the Navajo Winter Up Water project from the beginning. We also did the solar paneling for the NTU program up in Red Mesa, but they're all over now. Solar energy, I know, so there's Zimbabwe. And then there's several blessing businesses that a construction company that just recently I took part in one of the community moisture ceremony up in Pagosa Springs. Well, it was 2 weeks ago. That's my latest one. But, I'm on schedule, and I had to meet some people in Gallup area later this afternoon. So I was going to do a prayer, and I'll probably leave. I will stay a while for some questions. If people have any questions or concern, and I'll be available for a few minutes before I leave. Hot Ella, so Khailat. Deep it Benashe Solizum Hadishli.
Can you guys hear it out there, you guys? Ashpiga.
prayers, but always have a patient. Ko even I'm blessing him with corn pollen. He's going to represent the school, represent all of you. Well, I passed out some of my information. I left them on the table over there, and then they're supposed to run out some more copies of it. So, la بالخدية هاستان شما بالخزتزلين هاستان شما خدية لا نجنگو تيجنگو خجا نزيس كاي تهنا دولي تهنا دولي أدن هات أي خندليا هات أهول أنت دي باكهني سندو كونشت شيء ثالثي مانجا دي شيء بنشأه نهسرزن ليني نهجندن ليني ده بينشته وصرزن لا جبين هات إتسه إياه شدو نيرو كو يلاشي أدالنا كو شدنا شكيدن لني بالتخادن لي كو dan tenne dan loko hastra aruenda benashe ehozan dolle benashe yat eho bechat otse beyat eho nat notki ko ni het trako ko keda hoit ewo da hus au in leni an kidney hidden ed and lin hokad ne standard and let's cage chine na hol aja bain dan lin do yat eho ya da hatsi adan da hat sa nini helle clay nashe كذا دلنا بالذات بنسك كيس من هات كذا دلنا دو يتكدا هيو بكده دو تيلو تشيه بين أنتنا من ياهو ديدا هي تخني بيجي كو ساتو يا كو نهيني سرزن ليني هستان شما هشيلتيو شوان صوت سسناتشن صوت سلوك أصليت بنت سازلاج أول بيستخين ده نخليني خرجتين ده نكى خنا شون ده ولا كات استونز دشكش ولا هنا الشن ده ألتخا بتزيل ألتخا أتها ألتخا بتسخق ألتخا ديجن قد ألتخا نخال الشن ده نصاني ده ويستودي ده هو ده نانشين يدا ألتخا ناصر نيات يديك كات ولا شيء يا سليك يا نخاو سليك شدون خاي سليك اللاج شلاج شوك هذا هوشلا بيسودس زنيدا داس كم بيدو نيلي بنشكو أهزن دولي كون شيء شيء هذا زنيجة أصلا تياهو تيتولي بندشة كده تيتكيل بندشة كو بندر نيتكيل لان ليني هو كده نات باندهاز أشي بنسكيس أصلا هذا يتكلم أوليس بينا تيد أوليس تنا هذا باكون سرب كادي لغوس باكون يتسند أوليس أنا غيري سرد أو ساشنان سلاجي بندشة سبب كده يتخنيس بندشة هذا ديجنا خات ساد أوليس ديجنا هذا شنايش لا تولي مش شنايش لا تولي أكيد توت كيل ده أدرس كتولي بيتي بهو أتولي هتي خد دول Bahazan go hate bigger to kilo da ka deal. The man say case. Go kai chet all this lo hotegino nasra da hotegino has and all it. Could you know could a large outla the tradition outla, the natal gun outla, natal sun outla. Zan kinit and in seat region outla hollow. Uncle Ape. So there's an account her nil all Senda has that and Lenny. As I ended, I ho, Kishiyat, that and short and psychis. Did that a better dot kilo which had out the stove cut over. This had out in it had all it. The old oven, yeah, but also distant all this. And you know, on this one, no, yeah. Did I hate Hanibi ask for the But that's how it leaned all this, like out, but that's how it leaned all this. I don't care out, like it, like Job in it, $8, the Nielsen dollars, the Nielsen dollars. Aro, Mjot la Arab and a cardon head, the la Araba loyalty in Hido. Not any than it cleaning. Not sad than it cleaning. His Albada Hulia, well, tried than it cleaning, John than it can. No, they need card, even as in Ratchen, Rahunsen. They even yard, Shabik had our slaggy, a yawn hinge needle, Zabins, so down here, card instant. Should he in the nest, so you had a nothing. I asked her, they shall only $8 this, Nagini, so is Baho only $8. Bennett, Eddie, and Cabinet Tag. Nagini, hot up, cut it by Yelt, given us $9,000. The old answer this and all this, honey, Hagi is sang at the end, $108, Bennett, Abel, Nanny cleaning. He had not been done $108, so one hair job, but wait, let's say, the Banais can audition. I don't buy it, Nijan dog gas. I get a yadat. I get that, says then they gives a lawyer that you done dog gas, you got that. Jan dog gas, Jan, get it out. Did that, I don't. Because neat later, don't get not later. You know, I have given the wheel out all this. Don't try that harsh everything, the whole yard all this. There's no banashka. And you know what I said, late all this. God, Anil Skoko, should you not do you had an asleep in the home? Yeah, is arguing home. A mother was dead and it laid on his last, you know, has aunt all this. You know, they need cut all this. They were nice as can. I wrote Anil Skotnich, Hojon the has slit all this. Hojon has slit, Hojon has slit, Hojon has slit.
Alo yeah, Shache, the citizen Hain Lagi, Yagi. Thank you all for coming here today and joining us here for our event, Creating Hope Through Action. It's a 2023 National Suicide Awareness Month event that we're hosting here at Navajo Technical University. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out to us to join us. First, I'd like to introduce our next, doing a short bio for our next guest and our speaker, Mr. Arnold W. Thomas. He is a ordained Holy One, clinical chaplain, and he is coming to us from the Duck Indian Reservation in Oahe, Nevada. Mr. Thomas is a successful blind owner and chief executive officer of White Buffalo Knife Corporation, located in Salt Lake City. Mr. Thomas is the current vice chairman of his tribal nations. Additionally, he is a member of the Sundance Society, the Native American Church, a traditional pipe carrier, and also enjoys participating in a variety of traditional ceremonies. In 2012, Mr. Thomas received national certification as the first ever chaplain of the American Indian tribal faith traditions. He has inspired many by sharing his journey in life. Mr. Thomas has consulted with corporations, state and national departments in the United States, Canada, and Europe. Since 1991, he has been starting a message of hope, He is a dynamic motivational speaker and has a powerful message to share. Since 1990, Arnold has been a member of the North American Traditional Circle of Elders and Youth. In the past, Mr. Thomas has been a member of the National Work Group with the Veterans Health Administration, Indian Health Service. Additionally, Arnold has been involved in developing curriculum for suicide prevention and intervention programs on the local and national levels. He also served as a spiritual leader for the Native American inmates incarcerated in the Utah State Correctional System. Mr. Thomas also served as the project coordinator for the Circle of Hope through Volunteers of America, where he worked with homeless Native Americans. In 2004, he began spiritual work with veterans in Salt Lake City and throughout the United States of America. To learn more about his work regarding services provided by Mr. Thomas, visit the following webpage, www.whitebuffaloknife.com, or you can call them at 505 or 775-385-9822. And without further ado, I want to introduce him, Mr. Arnold Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, please give us a round of applause.
Good afternoon. Let's try it again. Good afternoon. Yeah, somebody say, Yate. Somebody told me don't be saying Yate Bini in the afternoon because that's a morning greeting. So even though I'm not Dene through lineage, have relatives that are Dene from different ceremonies, been adopted through out through Tall Mountain, to the Laughter family, and to other relatives. So that way some of you might be my children, my grandchildren, my great, so on and so forth. So so I had this cane here, and I utilize it because I'm totally blind. So throughout the next hour, I'm going to ask questions and need your participation, because it'll help me to see who you are. So all the females who are females here, some of you are virtual, so can't hear you probably, but all the females in here in the room, can you say aye? All the females say aye. Okay. All the males say aye. All the males say aye. Okay. All of you that are between, let's say, 15 years old and 25 years old, say aye. Okay, there's two of them. All of you that's between, let's say, 26 years old and 35 years old, say aye. Okay, there's a few more. All of you that are 37 years old to 45 years old, say aye. Okay? We're kind of getting sensitive here. We're getting higher and higher up in the age category. Someone said, don't tell them, please. All of you 45 years and over, say aye. Hey, all right. Yeah, they're proud to be over that age. How many of you are from the Dene? How many are you Dene? Say aye. How many of you are not Dene? Say aye. Okay, just a few. All right. Again, those of you that are on virtual, wherever you may be in the world, just have some patience as we move along, because I hear there are some different parts of the United States and even some that are further away. One of my brothers I met some years ago down in White River, Arizona, when I was over there in White River, Arizona, doing some speaking. We got to know him, and come to find out, he's passed away some years ago, but this is where he was born and raised. And he was a veteran of the military. And so how many veterans are here? Say aye. All right. So the brother earlier that offered the prayer, Pishayo is Azayo. In our language, Shoshone language, acknowledge you for the prayer that you offered on our behalf, and for all that is going to be said today and then into the future. So, so if you could take out a dollar bill, if you got a dollar somewhere in your pocket, maybe in your sock, or somewhere you hold your money, just break it out. But if you don't have one, it's okay. Sometime when you have a dollar, check it out. I have a dollar here, and I'm not going to ask for your dollar, but sometimes when you have a dollar, look at it, because what animal is on a dollar? If you look at it, there's that sacred eagle, and if you look at the dollar, a dollar bill in the claw, in one of the claws of the eagle, there's arrows, and originally there was supposed to be 13 arrows when they designed the dollar, and it was shared from our relatives on the East Coast, the Haudenosaunee, the Six Nations. They said, look at the dollar. And in there's that arrow. There was 13. The 13 represent the 13 colonies that were established way back when the French and the English came here. And they said, you look at that dollar bill, the arrow, in our tribe, in our tribal nations, there's a certain way that we construct an arrow, how we go and pick the stone, and there's a process to that. And then in the dollar, they said there's a certain way that we make the arrowhead, and there's a certain wood from a certain tree that we take and we make the shaft of the arrow, and there's certain feathers. But they said you look at the dollar, when you look at the dollar, there's those 13 arrows. They said there's a reason why there's 13, and there's a reason why they're together. Because when you take one, you could take it and break it easy. Take two, a little harder to break. 3, 4. But when you take 13 and you put them together, it's really difficult to break them over your knee. They said 13 together, unity. And you look at the symbolism of that eagle bird, and of the United States, there's that sacred eagle, that bald eagle they adopted. It's got a life force to it. Let me hear you say life. Let me hear you say life. Let me hear you say force. Let me hear you now say life force. Let me hear you say I. Hold up your tongue, your left tongue like that. Let me hear you say I. Hold up your right tongue. Hold up your right tongue. Go like this. Wiggle it around. Let me hear you say I. And repeat after me. I am life force. So as I go along, I'm going to be asking you to humor me and go through routines. Hold up your tongue again. Go like this. Wiggle around. Not your toe. Your tongue. Your tongue. Wiggle it around like that. Now go like this. Watch what I'm doing. Go like that. Now take your right thumb. Your other right hand. Go like that. Say love. Let me hear you say love. Let me hear you say love. Ew. All the lights are on. Let me say love. It's not dark. How come he's talking about me? So I'm going to be discussing and sharing some aspects about love. So here, some of you are like, you didn't want to put your thumb out like that. You didn't want to go like this. You didn't want to go like that. And some of you say, oh, forever sick or touching ourselves. Gee whiz. So here we go. Go like this. Squeeze, go like that. What I'm doing. Now the other one like that. Let me hear you say energy. Come on, let me hear you say energy. Follows. Thought. So as we go along, I'm going to be sharing about your energy that you're carrying. Energy follows thought. Energy follows thought. I heard a sister discuss this. Energy follows thought. So again, we'll get back to that dollar bill and the eagle gird. They said unity, freedom, and there's different definitions that come along with that sacred gird that they talk about in D.C. And when we were back in Washington, D.C., we were reminding the different elected leaders, politicians about the eagle gird that's there, that symbol represents. So when you look at the dollar bill, you look at it, and in that symbol, in the clause, you'll see the arrows, 13, and then you see two houses representing the Republican and the Democrats, and you'll see it. You'll look at the eagle, and in that dollar bill, and we have representation throughout our U.S. government, as a lot of you relatives are studying here. How many of you are in college here at this particular institution? Say aye. How many of you are going to school here? Say aye. How many are live here in Crown Point? Say aye. Okay. Go ahead and hold up your left hand. Hey, oh, your other left. This is my left. See? Hold up your right hand. Hold them up. Now bring them together like this. And wiggle them around. Touch your pinkies together. Then your ring finger, then your middle finger, and then your pointing finger, and right here your thumbs. Now, some of you came here and said, well, he's going to be talking about somebody who's given up on life. Hope. How is that related to us as a five-fingered people? Today in September 2023, why does someone lose hope? How does an individual get to that point where they don't want to live no more? As a five-fingered person, a human being, it was shared that long ago that we chose to come here. We chose our mother, our father. There was a time when we were a spiritual being that we saw the day when we were going to be conceived, and everything that we were going to go through from that time all the way to where we are now. We are shown our whole life. And we were asked, do you want to come here? Knowing what was going to occur. And so we're here. We came here to this point, going through the pandemic, what we've been through, and we're still dealing with parts of it. We have lost relatives who passed on. But we're still here, and oftentimes we ask why. Why have we come this far? Why am I going through what I'm going through? And earlier I mentioned love. I know for us as Native Americans, as American Indians, as indigenous people, love is connected to hope Love is within everything that's up in the sky world. Love is in that water that has come down. Because you look at and think about water, so much percentage of our bodies is water, and it vibrates. And the energy that we transmit from our intellect to our body has an impact on our overall physical being. So water is in everything in life. So water has love. You think about our Earth Mother. Tap your right toe one time. Tap your right toe one time on the floor. Tap your left toe, your left foot on the floor one time. Our Earth Mother, she has energy, the kindness, the compassion. No, hold up your hands like this. Wave them through the air. Wave them through the air. Air. Before we cried, the first thing we did was we had to breathe air when we were conceived. And we're still breathing air. And wait, put your hands up in the sky again. Put your hands up in the sky. Up there is our grandfather, the sun. And somewhere up there is our grandmother, the moon, the element of fire. The natural elements have love within them. Some were asking about during the pandemic, why, what happened, isolation. Some say, well, when a lot of us study and learn in college or we're studying in our respective careers, we look at all kinds of data, all kinds of research, analysis. And I was sharing this morning about all the statistics that I've read over the years in undergraduate and graduate school, and over the years working with and consulting with different populations. Why are there so many individuals that lose hope? And at a certain point, I realized that what are the solutions? Because it's so troubling and upsetting when we read all these research studies. One of the uncles
Hello? Hello?
This is on, yeah. This one good? Or that one? Either or. All right, thank you. I moved the duct tape on that one. So when your relatives read all the statistics when you're in school, one of our uncles, he said, so all the studies we read is based off of wants and needs. They study your wants and needs. But he said what's in there is duty. Duty is doing the right thing. He said oftentimes within those studies and that are out there that we read about regarding human behavior, human wants, human needs, he said there is that aspect that serving and duty is the right thing. And oftentimes it's not what you want or what you need, but doing what is right by the people. So communication. Again, let me hear you say love. Let me hear you say love. One more time, a little louder so I can hear you. Love. love and how one can express love. Oftentimes within our communities, when I was in the community, I said, raise your left thumb and repeat after me. So in the 5 finger, they said right here, the thumb represents you as the individual, you. So hold up your thumb and repeat after me. I love me. And go ahead and close your eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes, your left eye. Now close your right eye. Keep your third eye open though. Okay, now tap your right foot on the floor one time. Tap your left foot on the floor one time. And keep your eyes closed. It's okay. The lights are still on, even though you got your eyes closed. It's dark only to a certain degree. Now take your left hand as you got your eyes closed and touch the top of your head. And now put it down and take your right hand and touch the top of your head. And go ahead, open your eyes and hold up your right thumb now and wiggle your thumb and repeat after me. Repeat after me. I, see, holding up the pointing finger, have a good mind. So, getting back to the mind cultivating attitude, again, we're energy. Everything within you, the air, the water, the fire, the earth, cultivating attitude. Cultivating attitude. Oftentimes when we go through challenging experiences in life, maybe school is challenging, maybe work or the lack of work, or maybe oftentimes, how many of you are parents? Those of you are parents, say aye. Okay, how many of you are grandparents? Say aye. How many of you are great-grandparents? Say aye. Okay, how many of you are husbands? Say aye. How many of you are wives? Say aye. How many of you are shacked up? Hey, don't even say that. Oh, man. So, oftentimes within our respective families and friends and colleagues, oftentimes it gets challenging. And again, we get back to wondering, how are we communicating? How or what is somebody communicating to us? And how is that affecting my mind? The good mind, that peace in the morning when you get up and pray. You don't need to answer this, but my question is, how many of you in the morning when you get up offer a prayer? You don't need to answer, but think to yourself, how many? And what is a prayer? What is it? What is a prayer? You know, you could ask yourself that, what is a prayer? Our brother offered a prayer. It's a cry from deep within. It's a cry. We turn that cry of joy, that cry of pain, that cry of sorrow, the cry of sadness, again, the cry of happiness into a prayer from deep within. It resonates into a word, into a song, into a physical expression, a prayer, a cry. And when we turn it into a word, in whatever word in our language, we acknowledge that whatever is sacred and holy in our everyday life, in our surroundings, we add that to the prayer. So go ahead and stand at this time. Go ahead and stand up at this time. And as you're standing, what I would like to do, those that can do it, on the count of 3, not yet, but take your right foot and raise it like 2 inches off the ground on the count of 3. And I have you hold it there for about 3 seconds if that's possible. So on the count of 3, raise your right foot about 3 inches off the ground. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, raise it up. Hold it there, hold it there, hold it there, hold it there. Go ahead, put it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise our left foot, this side here, about the same, about 3, 4 inches off the ground on the count of 3, if you can. If you can't, just imagine letting your left foot up off the ground, okay? On the count of 3, let your right foot about 3 to 4 inches off the ground. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, raise it. 1, 2, 3. Put it down, okay? Now, if you can, right down, reach down and touch your feet. Just real, watch out, don't fall at the bleachers though. Just touch them. Put them up, okay? Now, raise your hands up over your head. Okay, put them down. Now, whoever is over here to your left or to your right, go like this. Look around. Somebody maybe in front of you, behind you. What is that? Peace, victory, yeah. In World War II, if you look at the pictures, they used to go like that, this way. And it meant victory. Victory, victorious, victor. Huh? Like in Smoke Signals, remember that movie, Smoke Signals? Hey, Victor. Go ahead, look around. Wave at somebody. Wave at somebody. Look at somebody in the eye. Wave at somebody. Say, hey, Victor. Come on, don't be shy. Wave at them. Say, hey, Victor. If it's a lady, say, hey, Victoria. Okay, look around. Look around. Find somebody else. Look at them. Smile at them. With your left hand now. Look at them. Wave at them. Say, yay, Victor. Give yourself a round of applause and have a seat. Somebody said, don't look at them. Don't look at them in the eye. Grandpa and Grandma said, don't look at them. Don't look at them. It's not good. That's what they, when I was studying psychology, said, Native American people, you don't know looking in the eye, because that's not a part of their tradition, and you don't look them in the eye. But any other people, white, African American, Chinese, Asians, you look them in the eye. So I know over the years when I was doing some counseling, you know, I can't see, but I would look them in the eye. And it's okay. Okay, now go like this. Watch what I'm doing. So like this. Like a real traditional Indian. Like this. Cross your arms. Okay, right over the top. Okay, suck your belly in. Suck it in a little bit more. Put your head up. Put your head straight up. Put your head straight up. Put your chin, poke your chin out a little bit. Okay, now curve your lips, like, you know, take a drink or something, curve your lips, and point straight ahead, okay? Point as far as you can with your lips, straight ahead. Okay, ready? On 3, 1, 2, 3. Point with your lips, not your head. Point. Okay. Okay, now let's try it again. Don't, no one's looking at you, only I am, but remember, I can't see, so. Okay, now on the count of 3, let's do it again. Put your arms over your shoulders like this. What does that represent? Look, watch what I'm doing. What does that tell you? Am I open? Am I open for you talking to me? Do I have an open Is my mind open? Am I open to communication if I have my arms over my chest like that and you're talking to me? Is that open communication, or am I closed? So here, I'm going to share a little bit more. So, okay, close it like that. Again, now pucker your lips up, stick your chin out. Okay, suck in your belly. Okay. Now, when you're going to point with your lips, I'm going to point over here or over there. If I point over there, I want you to point with your lips over there. Don't point with your head. Don't go. It's over there. Or don't point like that, but you're going to point with your lips, okay? Right here. Okay, pucker them up. Like you're having some, when you eat mutton stew. My brother, when I went out to Tong Mountain, first time I ate mutton stew out there, he said, now, brother, you got to have some Mountain Dew. So, just like you're drinking some Mountain Dew, okay? Like this. Pucker your lips up, pucker your lips up. You're communicating. That's what you're doing. They call it nonverbal communication in psychology, in the field of counseling. You guys, you could see. I can't see. But you could see. You got eyes. You look at your relatives. Oh, relative, you look a little down today. You look a little depressed. What's wrong? That's all it's going to take. What is wrong? I'm here. I care. That's why I'm here, because I care. Communication, you got eyes. They're a gift. They're a gift. Your eyes for your ears, you could hear. They're a gift. You could hear and listen. You got a mouth. There's a reason why your mouth's right in the middle of your head, and you got only one mouth. There's a reason why. They're gifts. There's a reason why you're touching your hand. There's a reason why we're the five-fingered. There's a reason why you kneel down and you're standing on your 2 feet. There's those gifts. There's a reason why you have the left side of your body. The heart, the female, the right side, the male. There's a reason why there's 2 parts to who you are. There's a reason why it's connected to your brain. There's a reason why scientists cannot understand the power of our brain. And us as indigenous people are still here. I'm sharing just a little I know with you and your gifts that you had to communicate. Verbal communication. When I said, repeat after me, love. Some of you are like, what? But I didn't hear nothing come out of your mouth. There's a reason why I'm sharing a little about expressing your thoughts and sharing that with you. And as I go along, there's going to be a purpose of why you're alive. And it's not a mistake. So again, put your arms put your arms over your chest like that. Well, before you do that, humor me. Take this finger, take this finger right here. Take it and stick it in your belly button. Come on. Oh, if I'm doing it, go stick it in your belly button. This finger, stick it right here. Now rub that dirt around. Look, some of you wearing white shirt, you rub that dirt around. He is the little brown spot right there. Okay, go like this. Stick your finger in your belly button. Okay, take it out. Now, why the belly button? For a lot of years I used to say, that's so powerful because when you were in your mother, her tummy, that's where you were connected to life. When you were in water, in your mother's womb for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, they say 9 months, when you were in there, that was water. Okay, water. Again, we are in water. Life, water. Okay, put your arms over your bed like this. Okay, Okay, now suck in your belly button. Now you can suck in your belly. Okay. Stick your chin out. Stretch your lips out forward. Okay, on the count of 3, I'm going to have you point with your lips. Okay. Point, tuck your lips up. On 3, point with your lips. In the direction I'm going to point. 1, come on. Suck your belly in. Stick your lips out. 2, 3. Point right over there. Come on, point. Come on, point. Gee, you gotta go way over there. That's too far. Not over there. Give yourself a round of applause for pointing. Some say, that's kiddie stuff. We see them doing that when they're playing basketball over there. Over there when they're shooting hoops. They say, where's the basketball? Over there, over there. I used to play sports in high school. Quarterback, basketball, rodeo, soccer, baseball. And, we was pointing. We still do that. Over there. So how come you're doing that? You got water in your ear. You keep going like that. Let me hear you say communication. Let me hear you say communication. Let me hear you say communication. So we're communicating, even though we don't know that. The color of your shirt, the color of your pants. He says, not pants, it's pants. And I said, it's not really me talking because I went to college and I got educated. So look at the color of your shoes. Hold up your hand like that. Look at the color of your hands. What color's the floor? Just out of curiosity, what color's the floor? What color's the floor? Green, red, pink. I heard red. What else? Green. Red. Is it like really red or just kind of red? So, again, relatives, that's the beauty. That's the power that you have, ability to communicate. The ability that you have with your eyesight. Back, like I was mentioning earlier, back when I was about 18, I could see. I could take my deal was to take that little leather basketball and stick it in the basketball hoop. How many of you play basketball for fun or even in high school? Say aye. How many of you play softball, baseball? Say aye. How many of you do rodeo or work with cattle or horses? Say aye. How many of you go to powwows and dance at powwow? Say aye. Like, what? Powwow. So, and how many of you enjoy the workout, like physical activity, workout, jog? Say aye. Okay, now we're going to do something else here now. Something like, again, gee whiz. You're not touching anybody. That's the unique thing about some of the activities I've created. You're not touching anybody. You're waving at people from a distance. And so raise your left hand. Raise your right hand. Okay, stand up. Some of you like, we didn't even sit down the last time. Okay. Go ahead, stand up. Stand up and go like this to your wrist. Move your wrist around. Move your elbow around. Move your shoulder like this. Hold out your right arm. Go like that. Do what I do, but not what I say. I just say, go like this. That's what we tell our kids, huh? Hey, don't do that. I told you how many times. Watch what I'm doing. No twerking now. Hey, put your knees, bend down a little bit like that. Now raise your ankles up, like do your calf raises. Bring your ankles. Okay, now move your neck around like that, like this. Forward, back, slow, not too hard. 13. Let me hear you say 13. Let me say 13. Raise up your hands. Wave them back and forth like you don't care. Hey, she's like, I care. Let me hear you say, I care. Look at the person to your left, right, somebody beside you, look behind you, look in front of you. Say, thank you for being here today. Come on. Tell them, thank you for being here today. Give yourself a round of applause and have a seat. "13. How many moons are in the calendar year? 13. They say 12. People, you say 13. That's an unlucky number. 13. 13. 13 moons in a year. August just had 2 full moons. 13. The mind-body connection, connected to the sun, the moon, the earth, the air, the water, the stars, all creation. 13. Right here, look, where it rotates. Your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder. 3. Your hip, your knee, your ankle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the left, the female, the right. Same thing, 6 more. 6 times 2 plus right here. Your neck, how it rotates. 13 places in your body that move, that have that rotation, the mind-body connection. That's what I was asking. Who, do you work out? Do you run? Do you jog? Do you do squats? Do you do crunches? Do you do yoga? The 13 places in my body, in your body, that connect you with life, helps you. Let me hear you say energy. Come on, repeat after me. Let me hear you say energy. Follows thought. Let me hear you say awesome. Come on, let me hear you say awesome. The first 3 letters of awesome, A-W-E. Ah. Let me hear you say ah. Oh, when you had that good mutton stew or that good fried bread, you're like, in your head, you're like, oh. That's really good. Almost as good as my grandma's. Ah. Or you had that salad or that fresh tomato. It's like up here, ah, awesome, ah. In awe. If you ever look at pictures of way long ago, the first pictures of our people back in the 1820s, 1830s, 40s, you see a lot of those old-time pictures with our grandmas and grandpas. They're smiling. It's like one of my elders says, how come they're smiling? Knowing what they were going through way back then, they were smiling. And he said they were smiling because they knew that everything going on in the world, they were right where they are. They knew that they were in the right place, right there at that time, and they were thankful for everything going on in their life. And that's why they were smiling. The joy, giving thanks for what you have. They say, well, why are you giving thanks for what you have? He said, don't focus on what you don't have. Oh, I don't got those Nikes, or I got brown socks. So I got real traditional socks of brown. So I don't complain about not having white or pink or purple socks, because it's okay. That attitude. Energy follows thought. Cultivating attitude. How can you cultivate attitude? Education. Some of you are still in school here. Education. When I went to University of Utah, pursuing my undergrad and graduate degree, I made an effort not to focus on, oh, I can't see. I can't see. So while you have readers that will read to you, you have a laptop that you could use to take notes, and you could take tests. You still have your mind, your intellect, cultivating attitude, how you want things to be. Cultivate it how you want it to be. No one else, not your mom, not your dad, not your grandpa, your grandma, your brother, your sister, your dog, your cat, your sheep, but you cultivating attitude, cultivating it how you want it to be. When I lost my sight in 1988, when I reached a point where I didn't want to live no more, because my father died, because I did not know how, as an Indian, to talk about what was in here, the anger. Instead, I drank, smoked a lot of dope, did a lot of cocaine, and because I did not know how to express what was in here, what was up here, my feelings, my thoughts. And people say, well, Indians, the Nays, Paiute, Shoshones, Apaches, Pueblos, Crees, Lakotas, they don't know how to talk about how they feel. That's a myth, that's a lie, because we know we have feelings just like anybody else. Our brothers and sisters from other colors of mankind, we cry. We don't just cry when we're sad, we cry when we're happy. You think you got tears. What is it? It's water. And in tears is hormones that connect to the brain, hormones that cleanse. You get so much water like it's going now, water, natural law. Water is going to go wherever it wants to go. Water is life. But when you get so much water, you build a bridge and a dam. Army Corps of Engineers came here way back hundreds of years ago, and they started to build dams to hold water. Natural law, you get so much water, the water's going to go over the top of the dam, or it's going to go around the dam. Natural law, water. Our brother out there in Canada, Cree brother, he said, when you cry, it cleanses the brain, it cleanses the mind, cleanses the body. When you hold in your tears, it's going to affect your eyesight. It's going to affect how you hear. It's going to affect how you smell. It's going to affect your taste. Because the water is being, blocked up. So in the tears, in the water, there's emotions and feelings. If I'm going to share anything while I'm here, is you have Cheryl Green here, you have the different departments here on campus that do counseling, you have in Crown Point the mental health, behavioral health programs, in Shiprock, in Albuquerque, in Gallup. You have the brother here, the uncle, the grandpa, the grandma, the sisters that are there to listen. Again, communication. Talk about what's bothering you, what's troubling you, what you're going through. So that's why I have you look around, you're waving at each other, smiling. It's not just me by myself. If anything, what the pandemic taught us is isolation. It's challenging. Isolation was really rough, tough, hard on us because we had to be alone. But what it also showed us is that we're a community. We care, we love each other, try to help each other. But also in the isolation, it's okay because we had to be alone with our thoughts. Now again, I can't see you. I can't see you, so I'm like, there's a place of loneliness, but in that place of loneliness, that's where we find ourselves if we allow ourselves to put our phone down, turn our TV off. At night, I turn my phone off, my cell phone. I want to unplug. I turn my TV off. I turn my radio off. Because I need, my subconscious needs time to let it flow. Subconscious, my conscious state of mind, my subconscious. So I unplug from everything and just be okay with silence. For a time. So that's what that's the reason why I'm having you do the activities, look around, wave at each other, lift up your hands, hold up your 5 fingers, touch your toes. Because I've heard too many presentations. They said, wow, I'm going to go to a presentation about suicide prevention week. So over the years, when I presented, I'm like, I have my own unique style as an indigenous person. The mind-body connection to spirituality, to old teachings. That way, tap your right foot one time, or 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, tap your left foot 5 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, squeeze your butt cheek, your right butt cheek one time. I'll just say. So, oh, gross. Oh, sorry, wrong terminology. Your gluteus maximum, okay? On the count of 3, squeeze your right gluteus maximum. 1, 2, 3. Okay, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Harder, harder. Okay, let go. Something like gross. Forever sick. Those of, if you don't work out, I encourage you to go work out. Squatting, and I was showing my youngest grandson. I said, if you want to touch a rim, you got to build up your thighs. And that's how you do your squats. It builds up. And I was sharing with him, about the muscles and the different muscles, the hundreds of muscles we got in our body. And I was sharing just a little bit I knew. And when I asked you to squeeze your gluteus maximum, your butt cheek there, when you're sitting there stressed, somebody can look at you and you're stressed, and you could just tighten up your quad here, and you won't even know it, and that's the way to reduce stress. Now try it like this. Hold up your hand, your left hand. Hold up your left hand. Squeeze it 5 times. 1, 2, and on the 5th one, squeeze it real tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Tighter, tighter, hard as you can. Okay, let it go. So when you're in a stressful situation, you could sit there, no one could see, and you're squeezing your hand like that, your forearm, and just squeezing it and letting go. Tension, stress. And that's why I was mentioning working out. What's your outlet? That's my question to you. That is healthy. That is a positive outcome that's going to enhance your mental, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual well-being. Being in the wellness center. So that's my question to you to ponder tonight when you sit down and you're getting ready to go to sleep, when you're offering your prayer at night, giving thanks for how the day went, the good and the bad, because the good and the bad throughout our day, those experiences are cultivating us into a higher form of ourself, whether we like it or not. When you wake up in the morning, what is it? What is it for you that helps you through the day? Because we all have a mission. We have a purpose. I had this cane here. When I lost my sight in 1988, I was like, what am I going to do? I was a big-time basketball player, all-state, basketball, football player. I was recruited out of high school to go play college sports. And when I tried to kill myself in 1988, by taking my 33rd rifle and putting it to my chin, I didn't want to live no more because of the pain, the sadness, the anger, because I didn't know how to communicate about what was inside. So the only thing I thought was take my life, because my father did that. And that was wrong. That was wrong. My grandfather was a military man. I don't know what all happened when he was in the military, but he took his life after he got out of the military. Through my research, going back to what happened to our people here on the land, when they tried to exterminate us, genocide, historical trauma, all the boarding schools, what I come to understand is that it was almost a extermination of our people. And so, because of our resilient nature of who we are, we're still here. And that's what I come to understand through a hard lesson. When I pulled that trigger in 1988, I should have died. All the blood I lost, everything, I should have died. I lost my eyesight. I shattered all the bones in my face. And I was lucky, the grace of all that's holy and sacred in life. They said, no, it's not your time. You have a purpose. You have a reason. Even though you don't think you do, you have a purpose. It's going to be all right. That's what some relatives shared. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. They said, don't give up. Don't give up. We're going to help you. I woke up a day later in the hospital, had a wire brace holding my face together, tubes in my nose, a tube in my throat. Wasn't able to speak verbally for several years, but they said, it's going to be all right. Let me hear you say, it's going to be all right. Let me hear you say, it's going to be all right. And over the years, I come to understand that. Some of the young relatives says, you know what? That's all I need to hear. It's going to be all right. And it is. And that's what was shared to me. It said, it's going to be all right. However it's going to go, you're going to be all right. And, back then, I couldn't imagine what life would be like, not being able to see, riding bicycles and motorcycles in the mountain, running down the road, driving a car, working on cars, doing all those activities as a person who could see. So, again, it's going to be all right. Step by step, going through surgeries. And when I started to go through all these surgeries to cut my nose, build me a nose, build me a cheek, build me a chin, build me a lower jaw. I have 4 teeth, build me teeth. Through all that physical reconstruction, what was really powerful was the healing inside, the emotional healing. I had to tell my mom, Mom, forgive me for what I did. Dad, I forgive you. Grandfather, I forgive you. The United States Calvary, I forgive you. Forgiveness. Let me hear you say, forgive. Let me hear you say, forgive. So that's another gift that we have. Whether we choose to forgive or not, But it's a beautiful gift that we all have, free will. So after many, many surgeries and going through counseling, I came back to traditional ceremonies to not be scared of who I am. Come back to our ceremonies. I came back to our language. I come back to finding peace, not with pills, not with pain medication, not with marijuana, meth, cocaine, not with alcohol, but with natural law, natural elements. That helped me to pursue my energy to learn how to use a cane. There's a technique to using this cane. It's not just swing it around and see if you hit, but when my right foot's forward, the cane's got to be over here. Left foot's forward, it's got to be over here. But it's not way over here or way over there, like when you're chasing sheep, or your dogs or your cat. It's got to be the width of my body right here. And this cane is measured so long to be in front of me. So when I'm walking down the street in Los Angeles or in Phoenix or in Salt Lake City where I was trained at, it's got to be so far in front of you to know where the grass is, to know where the sidewalks end and begin, to know where the buildings are. When you can't see, it was scary, but somebody told me, you have a purpose. You didn't die. You're going through these surgeries. You're learning how to talk. I had to learn how to speak all over, because these aren't my original teeth, John Wayne's teeth. But so I had to teach myself how to speak. I used to hold a little tape recorder and speak into the tape recorder. My pronunciation, my enunciation of words, it's not perfect. But I had to train myself how to speak all over again after going through surgery after surgery after surgery. But I said, you know what? I don't know what it is, but I have a purpose. Let me hear you say purpose. Let me hear you say purpose. Somebody like, shh, shh, hey, wake up. You had too much of that Navajo taco earlier, their lunch. So I came to that understanding. I have a purpose. What is it? I don't know. I can't see it. So I was trained how to use a cane by an instructor. I was trained how to use a computer. I was trained how to use a stove, how to cook. I was trained how to shave. I was trained how to iron my clothes when you can't see, how to wash your clothes. I was trained how to vacuum a floor when you can't see, how to read Braille, how to find a building, how to find a room within a building. So the hope, hey, there's something there, even though I don't have eyesight. What is it? I don't know, but I'm going to show up every day, look around. Hey, Mom, I love you. Sister, I love you. I had to ask for forgiveness from my relatives for how I hurt them. But I wanted them to say, oh, sorry, I didn't say that to you. Sorry, I didn't tell you I love you. I had to be okay with me telling them, me expressing to them my love, my caring. One of my uncles, he said, you know what caring is? He said, in your intellect, in your brain, you got to choose to care. I can't force you to care. I could tell you got to care for yourself. I could tell you to love yourself, but you have to make that choice to care. You got to make that choice to care for yourself. You have to make the choice to care and love others. How many had dogs? How many had dogs? Say I. How many, when you are at home, when you're driving down the road, you see a dog. And we've had dogs over the years, me and my wife. And you know, the beauty about a dog is when you get home, it's wagging and it's got its tongue sticking out and it's happy to see you. Unconditional love. Love. It's not like, hey, look at you, how you look. You look real mad. Gee, why do you look like that? With a dog, it's just like, oh, glad you're home, glad to see you. Wow, love, that's unconditional love. So again, getting back to choosing to care. So I'm gonna put a conclusion on what I've been sharing. So I shared different aspects with you. I traveled around the world. There's Danae's in Canada, way out there. Went out to Canada back about 12, 15 years ago, way out there, northern Alberta, northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba. They're speaking Dene. I said, hey, way down south, there's Dene's down there. I've been down there. I have relatives down there. They eat sheep. I said, you guys eat sheep? They're like, nope. We eat moose. We eat caribou. Way out there is fresh water, a lot of fresh water. They go fish, and they eat fish. Same language. Real beautiful. Not way up north, different directions. So I think before I close up in this presentation, you could visit my website at www.whitebuffaloknife. It's like a knife you use to cut, whitebuffaloknife.com. On there, there's articles and magazines that I've written articles for, and films when I was working with the veterans for a lot of years. That's on that webpage. So I'm going to wrap up with this conclusion. You have a purpose. Everything we experience in life, there's a learning, education in it. Us as resilient people, as powerful people with that ability to, we've been knocked down, but we've gotten back up. That resilient nature of who we are. With all the trauma we've been through, we're still here, and we're still living in beauty, in harmony with creation. We have a purpose as a brother, as a sister, as a son, daughter, as a husband, wife, as a girlfriend, boyfriend, as a relative, as a Dene. Whatever culture we come from, we have a purpose. As a community here at Crown Point, at the college, we have a purpose to help each other, to care, to love for one another and support one another. So if anything, the reason why I came here is to share with you that anything's possible, that you want to accomplish, go after it, because you are energy. Cultivate your life with how you want it. It might take a little effort, but it's okay. It's going to be all right. Pursue your dreams. Pursue your vision you have in mind on how you want things to be for you in the future. So that's my conclusion, and I know Cheryl wanted to come up here and open it up for a Q&A, right, Cheryl?
Yes, if you guys have any questions, or if you want to ask Mr. Thomas any questions, we'd like to come up here. But before that, let's give Mr. Thomas a round of applause. Thank you, sir. Is there any questions out there in the audience? I can also relate to what Mr. Thomas was talking about, living with a disability and coming this far in my life. And I've always experienced that change. Change is always something that you can always count on. If it's good, it's going to change. If it's bad, it's going to change. But just like Mr. Thomas said, you know, it's going to be all right, right?
That is okay.
Am I right, Mr. Thomas?
Yeah. Let me share something with you. I'll get over here to the podium if that's right. I'm going to reach under there. Don't want to. Thank you. He slowly moved. Hey. Never. So I'm going to share something here with your relatives. But yes, you are correct. Do you need me to help you? No, I'll just let it start up. So that's good. You got all the answers. I always like that when they always ask for Q&A. Okay, who's got any questions, answers? No one said nothing. I was like, all right, they got all the answers.
We do have a question over here, sir.
Yep.
Go ahead, come to the podium.
Hi, Mr. Thomas. My name is Cindy Daesh, and just a really quick question. From the time of your accident and your realization that your life was going to have to change, how long did it take you to realize that you had a greater purpose in this universe we all share?
Thank you, Cindy. How long did it take me? So as I shared earlier, so I woke up in the intensive care unit, and I used to have a tube here in my neck. They call that tracheotomy tube. And that's how they kept me alive. And I had screws that were screwed in each side of my face here, because I had no bones here, and a wire brace holding my face together, and some tubes in each nostril to help keep the air pathway open. And when I came out of it's like this terrible dream when so the last thing I remember was before I went into a blackout was I was bleeding all over, and I was every breath I was taking, I was swallowing blood. And I knew I was going to die. And I blacked out. And almost 2 days later, I didn't know this, but I woke up 2 days later in the ICU. I tried to open my eyes. I couldn't see anything, but I could hear my mother, my aunties, my cousins. I could hear them talking and crying. And I remember the doctor putting a notepad on my chest and a pen, and he said, you're not able to talk, communicate, but we're going to ask you questions, and you could write on this notepad about what we're going to ask you. So for a good number of years, like I mentioned, I wasn't able to speak. I had to use this notepad to write my questions and my answers down on. And I had a tube here in my stomach. They call it a gastric tube where I had to eat all my food through while I was going through all these surgeries. And so when I was in the hospital and at home, it was really agonizing because of what happened. You know, the anger, the stupidness. You know, for a lot of years, I was really angry at myself. I was angry at my father. I was angry at my grandfather. I was angry for not succeeding. I was angry at those in my life that did take their life, for having that mentality that it's okay, that suicide is the right answer. And I couldn't, you know, it's not. Because I had to see, hear, experience how I hurt my mother, the pain I put my mother through, my sisters, my daughter, my grandmas, my grandpas, my cousins, because I couldn't talk when I was eventually sent back home to the hospital. They would come to visit me and they would cry, yell, scream at me, and you know, say, that was really stupid what you did, or angry at you. Some of my friends, cousins didn't want to come see me. And so I had to experience going through that, hearing that, and come to the realization that I need to find something, outlet to let my anger go. And all the anger that was directed at me. And it was agonizing because I couldn't go anywhere. You know, like I was saying earlier, we could run and jog and ride a horse, go hiking and drive a car, ride a bike. Those are beautiful gifts that we have because we have eyesight. But me, I lost my eyesight, and I didn't know how to use a cane back then. I didn't know how to get around. I had to have people help me, feed me, take care of this tube in my here and the tube in my neck, and basically I had to relearn as a young person at 18 years old how to exist and what's that going to look like. So I had to find outlets that were positive. And as I started to heal, I'll go through these surgeries. You would think that I would have stopped getting high and using drugs and drinking. But because I didn't know how to talk about my feelings after so many surgeries, I started drinking again. I started becoming really addicted to pain pills because of all the surgeries I went through, morphine, Demerol, Percocets. I was hooked on pills to help me to deal with my physical pain, but also my emotional pain. But then I took pills to help me sleep. So uppers and downers, and I become addicted to all these other drugs. And I started to think, well, what is there? Because I'm going to end up trying to kill myself again unless I get help. And that's why I mentioned earlier about all the different resources on campus in the community, counselors, traditional practitioners, medicine men and women, alcohol and drug counselors, that they're here. That I had to learn how to put words on my feelings, on my thoughts. Because somewhere deep in there, I knew that there's something out there that's going to help me. I went to a lot of counseling. They don't know what they're talking about. They're crazy. Then one counselor take me so far, and then I get rid of them. Another counselor take me so far, but I just kept at it. You know, like I was saying, cultivating. You know, like when you plant a seed like a corn, you talk about that. And before you put it in the ground, you have your ceremony for it. You thought, then you water it. Your plants, they grow. You talk to them, they're alive. They grow. It's like us, we got a spirit, we talk to ourselves. That's why I was having you hold up your thumb or say, I love me, I love you. Nowadays, that's what they call positive affirmation. When you look in the mirror, say, oh, golly, I got a real big nose. And remember, I was having him point our lips. Oh, I got real somehow looking lips. Oh. But that's what makes me. That's what makes you unique. There's no one else like you in the whole world. That's what makes you you. And that's real beautiful. I had to come to understand that. Man, I used to, when I had sites to comb my hair, brush it a certain way, they had to look so good and had to dress a certain way and be a certain way, how I walked and everything. And then going through what I went through, you know, everything, my nose, the scars I have. I don't have lips. That's why I always laugh when I always have people do that activity. Point your lips, pucker them up. I don't have lips. But I'm okay with that. You know, with the way I look. I'm a perfectionist, like you. Real good looking. All you are real good looking. You're beautiful. You're pretty. I know that because I know that I come to a place where I had to accept how I look, that I am a good looking man. Because I'm alive. I have a purpose. You know, I had to forgive what I did. And I also had to, like I mentioned, I had to ask my relatives to forgive me. Because I wanted to find that peace in here, peace of mind. Nashone, I know you say everything's beautiful, everything has power. Want to be in balance, walk in beauty. That's the gift that we have, that we're striving to, like I was saying, to have that smile on our face. Because we're right where we're supposed to be. Somebody says, well, how come you didn't do this? How come you didn't do that? Oh. Well, if I known better, I would have done it. Oh, I told you, didn't I tell you? Don't do this and don't do that. Yeah. And unfortunately, some of us up here are real hard-headed. We have to learn ourselves. We have to learn it. For whatever reason that is. So what I went through, I had to come to understand that. Once I was able to start talking, that's what I was saying. Forgive, love, what I was expressing, communicating to you. It takes the energy, and it's okay. That process, what Cindy asked, how long did it take? It seems like it's still, 1988? I have to take up my shoes to count because I got 10 fingers and not try to add it up or subtract it. It's somewhere 30-something years, 1988 to now. That's how long I've been without eyesight. And it's like I asked one of the elders, I'm always, through my travels, I always want to sit down and talk with people, ask them this, ask them that. Well, why? I thought I forgave myself. I thought I forgave that person. They said, there's always another part of it that you learn. So it doesn't have, that negative doesn't have power over you. That's what one of the uncles said. He said, because it doesn't say, oh, I don't want to go over there. I don't want to go over there. I don't. He said, do not let guilt. He said, do not let shame make your decisions. He says, the rational mind, the good mind. That's why I had to say, I have a good mind. Yeah, you have a good mind. That goes back into old teachings, a good mind. The great law of peace, the good mind. We have power, we have energy to make things how we want it to be. It's going to take effort and work. So along the way, that's what I come to understand about that process of time. It is challenging. Some say, well, I don't got a mom, I don't got a dad. Oh, God, I was in foster care. I was this way, that way. This happened to me, that happened to me. There's a reason, and you're going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Some of you are like, how do you know his cane was right there? Well, I put it right there, and no one did move it. There's a reason, a rhyme to a reason. So I hope to a certain point I answered Cindy's question about the journey, the path. Our brother, he offered that prayer, that road, the journey he was praying about for us, for peace, for well-being. Somebody like, did he really say that? So in that manner, the journey that I've been through, some say, oh, golly, wasn't that hard? You can't see. Look at how you look. You look this way and that way. I say, yeah, I do. But you know what? It's okay. Because I could hear. Well, gee whiz, don't you listen? Well, I hear, yeah, and I listen. And I try to think things through. I could smell when I got to Albuquerque, to smell that green chili stew that hung on me. And as I came this way more, I was like, yeah, mutton. I bet those horse trailers are still out there. You can smell them where they eat mutton. I was here about 15 years ago at the school over here in Concoit. And when I came there, they said, the only restaurant that's here is the one in the back of those horse trailers. I was like, okay, you like mutton stew? I said, yeah. So long as it has some corn in there and some squash. Holy. Back home where I'm from in Duck Valley, Nevada, we don't eat mutton. We eat like, we got deer and we eat like these big squirrels, big like that. We call them yaha. They live in the rocks. When Danaes come out there for ceremonies, they look at that and they're like, you guys eat that? I say, yep, it's traditional food. I said, that's greasy and slimy, satisfying, goes down good just like mutton stew. But that's a part of who we are. It's okay. So, you know, nowadays, I was sharing with my wife earlier this morning, we were talking, discussing about being here in Crown Point. My brother, he was a comedian. He was born and raised from here. I spent time consulting with him. And I don't know, I still haven't found Chichi. I don't know where Chichi is, somewhere. Because he's always talking about Chichi. Because we worked a couple times together down in Tucson with the Tohono O'odhams. Got to spend time with him, brother. And he got married in White River, and And one time when I was up there, we spent some time together in White River over to doing work over there. And they said, don't talk about suicide. I said, either we don't talk about it or we pull it the rug and push it under the rug and put the rug back down and don't talk about it and don't deal with it. I wrote a paper. I said, our people were never like that. They never died by hangings, only when the cavalry hung them. Why do our people take on the weight of the cavalry? We never had firearms. Why did they do that? We never had pills. Why do they die by those methods? Our way, that's not our way. That's not our way. So our way is to talk about it, to exercise about it, to find a way to put words on our feelings, because we have a purpose. Those prayers, those thoughts that our people for thousands of years have put here, that's real power. That's powerful. We're still here. We're still here. People want to be Dene. They want to be indigenous of North America, but only we are. People. So I hope I answered Cindy's question. Cindy Ginny, right?
She went back to her office. Cindy Chishchili. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? So, cell phone. So, it's unique because what fingers do you use to text? What fingers do you use to text? How many use your thumb? Say aye. How many use your pointer finger? Say aye. So, some of the relatives, when they text, they use their thumb. These two. They use both of them. Some use just one like that. And somebody, some years ago, they were talking about technology and how it's going to be a real positive factor to what's going on in the world. And the way I see it, it is. Because when we write, how many of you are right-handed? Say aye. How many of you are left-handed? Say aye. And some of those that are listening virtually, for a lot of years, there's always more right-handed people that use a pencil and write with their right hand and do everything with their right hand. So the right hand, that's all the male. The left hand, this side, the female. So now over the years, because of technology, typewriters, computers, keyboards, now cell phones, using not just one hand, two hands, not using one finger on the one side, but two, maybe using your thumbs. Now you're using both. Now you think about it. When you're using both, now you're bringing the female energy into the male energy where there's a balance. And looking what's happened, the Me Too, the women's movement, the African American movement, that female energy being brought in to the universe. Now you look around all the way through here in the state, all the way to Washington, D.C. There's becoming more and more women leaders there and being involved. Now all the males, all the men, the males that they say the great white father, they said now all of them are being challenged because there's been more and more women. The female energy has been brought more and more into the universe. And you see what's going on throughout the whole world. It's okay because there's that balance that's coming about. It's slow, but you see it happening more and more and more. So that dollar bill, when you look at that dollar bill, in there, in that symbol, and in there, what the English and French did not realize when they were building their new constitution, the new form of democracy here in North America, way back in the 1850s, 60s, way back, that constitution, democracy, what they did not see was when those Haudenosaunee, those Iroquois, those Seneca, those chiefs, when they agreed to bring the French and English to their council meetings, they did not see when those chiefs went back to their homes, back in their homes, how those chiefs were counseled by their wives, by their sisters, by their daughters, by their mothers, by their grandmothers. The matriarchal part, the female part to our survival and existence around the fireplace, around our ceremonial family fireplaces, because we all had them within our families, within our clans, within our tribal nations. That's what we still have here throughout the whole world as tribal indigenous people. That's powerful and a major part of why we are still here. That's what they didn't see in that dollar bill, in that symbolism, in the establishment of the United States Constitution. Any more comments, questions?
All right, we have another question. Go ahead.
Grab your hand. Shake your hand. Welcome. My name is Virginia Edgewater. I work with disabilities here, provide services to students. I just want to share that my great-grandmothers, the word that I heard from them was, if you know my voice, they would say something like this, and they would say, "Hakko," meaning come here, and then they put your head on their lap, put your head on their lap while they're sitting down, and then they would stroke your hair backward like this, and then they would say, "Ahashana shawe nahajoba iye." That's heartfelt, what do you call it? Observation. When they really see something good in you, they do that to you. And when you hear that word, it brings tears to your eyes. And they would always cherish you. They're saying it because you belong to them. You're the grandchild. You're full of happiness, love, everything about yourself. And they notice that. And that's when they tell you, "Come here," and they just want to talk to you like that. So that's like coming from Mother Earth too. So regardless of what happened in the past with you, Mr. Thomas, Mother Earth has accepted you back to give you good energy. And I know you would have a full force of energy in you to keep up with your life, which many of the people that have eyesight, I believe they take advantage of their environment, and it distracts them and they can't learn, they do other things. But for you, you were saved, and it brought you back into this world. The spirits have brought you back, and you become a beautiful human being with knowledge. And I just want to say from my heart, I appreciate you for being here, coming here, and providing this education to us. So this much I say to you, so welcome.
Oh, yeah, Shmo. She's giving you a hug. You want to comment on that, Mr. Thomas?
Thank you, Virginia. Where's the audio? So I'm gonna. He asked me if I have anything else to say. So yeah, I do. I don't have any comments. Just Kijayo, Zayo, Kehet to Virginia and what she said. I, don't have any. Appreciate that. So the brother here was interesting because I was asking where the accordion was. He was going, over there, over there. I was standing like, where's the accordion? My mom's the same way. When I lost my eyesight, went home and then left because I had to leave to get training and go to surgeries in Salt Lake City. And that's where I met my wife. My wife's here. Wave at them. Stand up. Wave at them. My wife, Ruth. So I met her. So I was looking for a beautiful woman. I said, I'm going to find me a Gini woman. So I found me a Gini woman. So I'm like, no, she's not. Yeah, so, we've been together for 30 years. So me and my wife, we raised two daughters. We have grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. And,
Hello.
And the unique thing about our relationship is she treats me not as if I have a disability, even though I do, but we have mutual respect as a man and a woman, as a husband and wife. And I enjoy, like I said, we've been together for quite a few years, and she's employed with the Veterans Health Administration in Salt Lake City. She took time off to come down with me. We traveled over the years all over different places, and she's always saying, well, I'll travel somewhere that's unique. I've never been. So we've been down here a number of times to the Dene Nation, different places all over North America, back east, west, up into Canada, up into Alaska. But majority of the time when I travel by myself. Get from our house to the airport, get on the plane, and travel to where I need to go to. And my grandma, she told me when she was alive, she said, aren't you scared, grandson, to go to South Dakota? And aren't you scared because you don't know them? And you get on a plane and you go there and they pick you up. What if they take you way out there and drop you off in the middle of nowhere? I says, well, Grandma, you put it like that. Yeah, it's scary. I said, Grandma, what you taught me was to pray and to pay attention and to trust in the prayer. She says, oh yeah, grandson, that's good. So what I'm going to do is share with you, because over the years, when I left Salt Lake City about 8, 9 years ago, I moved back home to Duck Valley to work with our tribe. And after so many years, my people says, well, given you're educated and have a little knowledge, we want to nominate you to be on the tribal council. So I said, all right. Crazy me said yes. Now I'm in my 3rd term as a tribal leader back home. I'm the current vice chairman of our tribal nation. And our chairman, our current president, he's like, Arnold, he reads everything and he can't see. So I'm gonna, right here is my laptop computer. I got a laptop computer. How many of you use computers? Say aye. So here's my, it talks. It's got a voice program to it.
Search box edit, type of text. All apps checked. All apps list 3D viewer 1 of 1. A. Access 1 of 2. Adobe Acrobat 2. C.
And this software is called JAWS, but just like you, when you use your keyboard, your hands to type, I use everything. I use my, keystrokes, key commands. I don't use a mouse, but just like you, I use Microsoft Word. I use spell check. I search the web, everything. I'm still a student, still learning, but I constantly writing, taking notes, reading. As a tribal leader, constantly having government-to-government meetings with the Forest Service, the Bureau of Land Management, Army Corps of Engineers, different meetings with the politicians in Washington, D.C., and with the governors, the state of Nevada, Idaho, and always working with our people back home. So that's what my people back home in Duck Valley, Shoshone Cayutes, they entrusted me into that position. I swore to stand up, took an oath to do my best to speak on my people's behalf. And so, just want to share with your relatives that, again, you have a purpose. We have a purpose. Anything's possible. It's going to take an effort. It's going to take establishing short-term goals and working towards them to that long-term goal. One of my relatives told me, he says, gee, you need to stop going to school. You're already educated enough. But again, education is everywhere. It's every day about ourselves and others. So I just want to share a little bit about that. What I use, use the laptop and, use my phone, just like some of you have cell phones, and even right down to our our children, always using the phone. But what I really enjoy is I don't like to sit at my house and be texting my grandkids when they're sitting right across on the next seat over. Try to talk with them, ask them questions, go outside and do different activities. So it's a awareness, it's a self-awareness. And so, but it's good. So I encourage you to be aware and for yourself. And so I know we're coming on to when I think Cheryl mentioned that they're going to be doing some prayers, blessings outside for the week that's been going on. And so I just want to share a little bit about the devices that I use and function as an educated indigenous person, as an elected leader. So just want to share that with you. I don't know if there's, turn it back over to the MC here. But again, thank Cheryl Green, Teen, or whatever her last thing is. Cheryl, thank you. I thank the college here and all the different departments that were involved in having me get here. And again, I'm not disabled, I'm abled. It's just finding what is there to help me to continue on in a positive manner down that road of life. Again, you can check out my website, www.whitebuffaloknife.com. I got 3 CDs on there. I enjoy singing, films, articles on there. You can email me, talk to me. I'll be around for the next couple of days. So again, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thomas, and for all that knowledge and all of the experience that you shared with us, self-awareness, and leading to, who we are as individuals. My brother from the Navajo Treatment Center for Children and their families, Mr. Joseph Sandoval, I would like to also note that he has a series on KCZY and talks about, some of these issues that are pertaining to our children and our health and our communities. And it's important that we know all of these things and we are well aware. And suicide is something that is very prevalent in our communities on the Navajo Nation as well. So keep that in mind, and there's always help and there's always hope. And if you need somebody to talk to, there is a hotline that they have. You can just dial 988.
Kwade ya ke ya hazani bkhagi tis oze adu kwe ultra ta ultra to adu oho a ede ti kiti ti na antien salado kodo e kwade ya e di che kwade in haho a sale la ho adu kun tenen kha ne ya hi do e kun hi zi Mr. Arnold Thomas. Thank you, sir, for coming out and be able to present on your aspect, your perspective of, I guess, suicide. I think it was very informative. I was sitting out in the audits here and listening to you, gaining more knowledge, understanding from a different perspective. Along with that, some of the things that you talked about, be able maybe to incorporate that into my teaching as well. And I noticed that there's a lot of similarities on what you have expressed as related to our culture, the Net culture. So it's very interesting. Ado kenya ane e bashishin tsna jeneda shichi kitlichin e dashin na leho na ge tots ahol ye wheat fields ado e gisi the nenshle ado na ge look at chikri hol ye ado de ke hashte ho ado da e shalchne e ti e hota e shalchn holo e kodona khai na ge kojha a na ge lechi indi aha hol ye the bayaj habatin which a whole little water a quen has ado ishal chine that in the oh what are they ya e quen han the yado question all ad a coho betnash so whole geez Kim Pashlake she contacted me and wanted me to come out this way and do the closing prayer here and then maybe share some cedar here with relatives quen no yanigi ho. I guess the thought behind it is that going through the awareness month, of suicide. To traditionally, do ba yat hit ba hast hit, do ajani da, jo hast huido sani nantin. A coho ya a zet not well yenigi is suicide. Translation from the Nehbezad, a zet need need that suicide. Judo hot answer the case da. Do quizzens and the do kujani da, ya bahat ba hast hit. Doesn't eda, you know, hashing thought, hashke, but nazdio, yeah, not hindo yet, hit like home. John the edition the horn, nilto, out, ho gato, the net, and the gidol on it, itigi, ado chini yasno, settling the nigi, kunda of tagi, ado kodon, he kedo old tagi, jay hashit out in sick case, lahot on sick case, leo. Don't lay the yank has twisani, and the negi do it I see a ya, the ain't a case and the other. A quag ship in na, she it to a she a hashing sort abahatos. Jot aba yat kiko, a she a ya a abahast ani. Maybe some of you guys know of maybe a family member, relatives, friends of yours that had committed suicide. My granddaughter-in-law, my niece, she committed suicide. It was very devastating. It was hard to go through that and to approach it and to talk about. Within the midst of the family, it was hard for me as an individual, even though I have some knowledge and some teachings, a lot of teachings that I have, culture, traditional teachings. When it comes to something like that, especially family, I don't you know how to talk about it. So because of that, maybe like I said, maybe you know somebody that may have done that to themselves. And then one of the co-workers that I had, that I worked with, about a year ago, he shot himself. I call him my brother, the co-worker, so I consider his son as my nephew, and kind of close that way. So, Johota not by yet here. Dihan Saha case, Lenigi and Hin Saha case. I don't ha an I don't the in hit J, I don't the A, the Higal, the hits is, kind of how that age. The Hikalat out on the hits it as in heads of not need net large. Quaggy Bahast hit. Johota by yet here. Hashing so a yield death. Johota Hashing so Ishanan, not a Navajo Nation Treatment Center for Children and their Families, Adishanan, not mental health services, or in Hinan Shidil, or the Ilchin of settling the deep and nached, those was out of nached, but can't nail what. I don't the hot on that key, hot on Sadak, so you're that key, or hot on Hilia, can't did. Oh, you bet, aunt, the Yanaka, Nahalchin Yanaka, don't Nahalchin a yada. The ne do san has twisani. I don't da equa not de hindenigi, belta, leho. A codabona anigit ado, abonet sanigit or that it never yelted on a neat hin. Jot adeya enkinan that in deho. A co arj cochigo able laganic as you go a therapist and linigi, laganic ayada iltagi, J. Aj Chinitlandish. A co shajugo a cojo ate the neck not in tin linigi. I don't know in Hagada, but that's it and low, just like at the Ota, about Nazland, Nahagat at each other. Ota, Shalchin, but Hiotot il. Though dying hidden a heart, Hiotot il. Da no, the joke has tweed and Denny, and the Hal, Tartly and Denny, a Bacat Dado, a Basta Dadly. What on Hinan the Shindil, a de indeed in Han, Yaho, the Gay Tagaho, Zande. The program, the Navajo Treatment Center for Children and their Families, Quani office will know. Crown Point, the bashes big on the Nana, the 45 get Chinley, Tuba City, those Sherbrooke. That's where our office locations are at. So there's an litigation, Jojo, Flashy that's a not addition, Adukun Hatchin, that and Leo. That yo, yeah, when they go through this. I went, not personally, but my youngest daughter went through that. I didn't know about it. She had this suicidal ideation because of the incident that happened to us as a family. It affected her that way. And I wasn't aware of it until she brought it to my attention. So, you know, kids are like that. They don't disclose a lot of things of what they feel, what they think. So have that in mind. I don't know. I don't care not the shin the niggy and I don't care has any community. I don't care a hold our coon he can't hit in there. Grab can it any Asian quiet it's citizen. A jot a hansa case il dish. Ha an il dish. What as I feel the blacana traumatized. Quite hansa case and the niggy. I could go a chen now will yenigi a hashing so a behotit. Jota a quay a sad and then get chen now will yenigi has 2 yard or a this sad they could all yen chen the dun go HG na go or all ye chen when such case quite be lay what he got be the hard she did a charge na hello that up yet on the niki eating. Ha ishit the deeds and the a ha ishit nelly. Jilchito ado chil, to business hotaho. To yat egin no, or a hochi hotiho, a yahotilte, or a hansekis, adia yatahos a questions and then a chet or hozok has done says the case, adult eda chehel, a coach is to live in. To that I would say it out of the business need or little to chit or to be got a le. Joe I hashing so a be hachoti na be hochi na hoti ildi. What are enkish diga? I don't let it out of the Dutch hat ishi in na. I don't old hata. I had ishi is the little tabo bo zentle. And Nasada a has a chin na hoti nantle. So no ya had. How even in a quality yacht that Lenigi quay a she in the great or a shinko. A shinko a innocent go. A ya a quiet a ya a shinko. So there's an ishlago. A she quiet a dotcheto or huncho do hato did the dotche. Hat ishi ban hin hat ishin hin sikis. A ya a quay yapen negi. Ishi do cause it in Saha case better the dotche. I'll settle at the dotche. It did that each jolly gay a quack at ishin the niggy a legon dotly. Ados at nana and the 8 nadocha. In the 8 dotly. Deed. Jonago. Lady halchinigi but the hot sea go. Jonago. Jot ishin. Not otta. The yatta nesta. Aha, ishin had halby yet. Ketloto ya Jota in Hagabi Nazla. Jota hat Ishibet in a hot or quite hardly the Hoyaden. But the Hitzi at Tahan has no other. Edi Sidiki a Kodota hat each of Edi Honne Conne each of Le Honsakis had see hard shidida charge the San a Adapa at Josh. A Adik a Yot no has done neat legend. Jota da lebik e kana hauda. Jota in hajo ba Winson. Or in ha ito li. Jota in haban takis and the education than the eho. E hota she dodly. Arudipa yet in denigi e quadot e ya e bits arjugo cojugo. Do had it other bank here the dot etta. As Janshi e kuba yet hit lande. E coje e don't hit the dot nilta. Don't hit off chata. Juquad e ya e citizen denishi e bed or li. What Edo little caution than there, I shall see so the rage at citizen a behots and little. Could they was all the Lord no son him? is card or codo nana, so there's a dini compehana dits, a consciente, and that they could yadikitni traco. Get the yard dolce, so lado, da creature, da quickly, he try when it long here, when he doesn't eat, and he soon he doesn't eat. Quiet a yacon, quiet he trap when now it low a whole just in the oho. And the yacon to the unit in the now, down the floor on the dolta. Nihe ehosen, nihicaho yolka, nihicaho nita. Ha archer on the floor, shada now, cos need or yas need. And the yacon yolka, no, that is no two charge he'll be it. And the yacon, da she, I care, he be it, con the dolta. Nihe eda hosen, little corner. And the ehun tahodi in has arch a corner nana whom the yacon hajopa, and sanadi costo hajopa, a corner the dignity, and I con the yen or con lodge. Hode ya a con the j salado, Nansaki large, and the icon hajopa nana. Quiet a ya con, quiet DJ a con, a quiet kaya has aha, bakai, and the icon quiet a yacon quiet kinson, and bakai be yet or yet a yaho. Quite been yedo bani holo, quite a she bought so this kedo by yat hido, bohot art and the doc teacher been yeti quot a ho as a leo. Ado these the ligido and leo, but the gun been sakis at ah, but not at ah, conjo at a yacon suicide prevention awareness, jo at a yan hotan unlaw, jo at a yaho. Ado teach the yacht and the worldwide. Jot are the awareness day today, Jot are the Bahan and Leo. And the Econ, as not out Yenigi Hoko. Jot are in the hard as she had asked to his son and Leo. A yo ya dust hit like Jot are the Econ, Yata Hashkata out a whole Jesus Leo. Oh, this gene the a hot edo hot ho gratna had and oh, the dish. Other could yield that all are neat edo could. O chilo and I call no sale, and I call somebody night day because el can on the net and a shipping Arukoja education or you bear a hot dot and lido, and I and Sakis Yatahot Yen, and I et J, and Dakoja it's east con the girl patient a yacon. I do yard ego bear hot dot, he gives us door, you, Joe hot a be cato be ilta, what are they con here in that date in the Halchin de car and Leo. He came to the nail at the car and the corner. Had issued a yard or yard a hot, which we do art and law, Joe at a hashing sort a yard. A could issue the a could a Joe at a hashing sort a bestar cut and law, Joe at the hot answer keys and then again. Joe a could a con by yard a do a yacon daughter, and the a could about cohinson, and the a hot a ya by yard hot a benan no. The Quishido youth art, Joe at a ben the yet in the hot and the Joe ben the yaho at court and then local, the Han, the yan, the oko, a yacon, the hick is at el, hard she who garden, Ado yet, hold the egg Adocon, but not in Tins, Lanegate, and I couldn't hit Lishana Ila, and that they couldn't hit like just tots and Leo, and I call a yacons and the gate. Jay coin Christian Egila, Joe that and gi hashing so a con Naz, Abenazanigi, a ye tadado kato ye da osnate and no hinash a con, ye that there's tado ye get that the tra, ye that there's tado shot and zingi, Joe that and gi hashing so a con had a con a baho as no. What I then hitch a hard see who wrote our con no flow, who not that or little con. Eko na rade bekeya adoko eko bekin shnani hollo neho ba alchin so keb na le keshi ko hollo bik eko jot a e hashin so e yako e na ta linigi ko bas la la ho ado ta ko njuno ko na khabta no so ko eko do ta leho ota de ko so zendini be ba tis leho ado ko shikesh ne eko ko ni yanigi do handa de ko e ya adishnigi ta ho Shin a could add a shin a con big aid and law, but I'll chin than law, and I would talk cabin and the kehishi con will chin than law, it had as jade than law, and I hold that, but actually what that's a con, a con, or are they be in the has this lee, Jot add over yet in the ahashin sort of what the yacht not had aid has tweet in it, what the dog cliff to neat. Johadat enigi bits quiet ya ikun so there's an deni be hat ots and the ya dot that or listen de ku kweba yat hito and the quiet ya ba han to ben an tin denigi do hadit da kun skation and the nita is and denigi do hadan so do hadit da ben se case betor chat o ba to lita and the ben and the ko bji and the ko bakal bits is ko hadat age dot that or listen de that any do ya that in sa case and da do ya yat hin denigi hashin so ya ko ben denigi ben se case and denigi do ba to lita ben yet ko yat de denigi ko kwet ya ko kwet in the sauce and de ko jono ko he dan se case ko did it o chen de ko be cha hasi git jono ye dan da to ni de ko Because they became the hot or Tala, she could yin neither, she won't dark, China the she quick and dark, and the Hokon, who can hide the hard at the Edako, Lana, she dons and hide that sort of ya ha lana, and the Akon or the she Yaku, but they that, the Akon, the Yahoko, a bit and so yin need other compensation, but they that Edo that Flanshi, being nashit out of leather, Akon to yin leader. Ben nashit out of the chehil and the Hokon, who do had all know that she, or that shot the shit they come like Esto, the shit they ended out that she come to hold Jishan Leo, the la kun quite a yakun, quite a yakun yat the Nigiko. I wrote out the son's gonna go, yat ego, when the case, a baby can that or sal. Be yat in the dotle, be hojon, nada kaitole, ye, nada or nido ye, nada but zilo, ye, chana nada and long, kunadi cartole. Quaike has abakai, quail has abakai, Nahalchin kun dakri, Silkage a kay kun udahot be ultran that idahil and leo, and the quain that Lishpata ultrat and lini, at some kun quaid equa, bananish if enigi hokon. Aro quaike has abakai, quaid it is so abakai, Jot a kun in hik enki the nekun and leo, at the huis aj, what ashit ekun in that in leo kun yat linigi kun. Ekon de di jagi zonogo yat eho ben handa to saten de kon da his age kon arot zono de yin keho alele keho slet da hat do so slet nan so kishin de gi kon de da ho no wana kon ni ken de na kon da hallo de yin keho de le keho hab gen da so sa do de wat de hon so zin be hanadis de kon di ye ben na shit ya kon yet ya ho Bed yakon sa anare, yakon benahotzi na nidlo, and the akon sa anare, bed and the is anare big ehojon, a son, and the is anare big ehojon, do tiddle nehi, sa anare big ehojon, tadink a team, a car, kun yet akon na need that on hina yol cartol, kun nas on dego, kun yakon kunka, kun ike edge or the dishes, and the kun happy yo, and the whole town, shingo. Zono kon ik het geen nachtol tussen de aan higa hield kon wat uit kon ik daarna in nog in dole ik zag na da nog tlon dole en da ja kon ik na het lido ik na hoe in ik na hoe lado na ga na job pat ja ze zu na het niet dole wat uit kon zo de ding hoe bij na dis leo ik kon zo de ding bij ha se kon bij ha ate ik na zo dole shada ate ate na koste niet ja niet de Chitting the nether on the floor there, digging Honda, Dibe, Ojon Dole, Ojon Hasli, Ojon Hasli, Ojon Hasli, Ojon Hasli.
Julie Martinez, and I'm majoring for construction tech. You know, first time for anything. I had fun, not gonna lie. Like, I'll probably My name is Julie Martinez, and I'm majoring for construction tech. You know, first time for anything. I had fun, not gonna lie. Like, I'll probably save this forever. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked that I made this, you know. Well, I'll bet. Here, I'm gonna flex this one too. It's not mine, but it's hers, but, you know. Candice Clyde.
네, Henry Charlie and Shay, they tune in this Linus Christian budget. Toban had this chain, arcade and that, this another. And I'm from Rihanna Lake, and today we did bracelet making out of the copper. It came out pretty good, pretty fun, something to look into. I still gotta polish it though. It's not yet done. I just oxidized it.
I'm the welding instructor here, and then what we did here today was, I guess, an introduction to make something for yourself, which is a copper bracelet. You know, just for them to have fun, to enjoy what you're doing. You know, do something for yourself, do something for your friend, your mom, your dad, you know, your girlfriend, your wife, you know, or even your boyfriend, you know, whoever it is. And I think the students really enjoyed it. They're asking if we're going to do this again, and yeah, that's what we did today. So the students got to make their own bracelets, and they got to wear it. You know, you may have had a bad day. You may have, you know, not. You know, you might have argued with somebody, and then all you do is go and just do what you're doing and have fun at what you're doing. And
my name's Chase Bebo. I'm in the Environmental Science and Natural Resources program, and we learned to make bracelets with copper. Some of it was kind of hard. It's like you don't stamp it right because it's pretty dull. So some of the stamps like didn't come out the way I wanted to come out. And then after I was done, I was like, oh, I could have done this like differently. But I like the way it came out.
It was fun because new experience, doing everything. And my major is welding, so I enjoy this too myself because you get to experience more new stuff today and everything. People don't know, they want to know how jewelry is made today. So we got a taste of how it's made. I seen people doing it, but I always wanted to try, never got the chance. Until I heard about this, you know, I'm gonna go try it, something new, something fun.
In fact, Andre's here, and he's very good helper. He's taking engineering classes now, and he's still taking one of my classes, and he wants to be an engineer. So fantastic. And Verna's here. Verna, the other instructor, and she made herself a really nice bracelet too.